What's going on, everybody? Sports culture. Today we got 7 round mock draft for the Green Bay Packers, possibly with some trade ups and trade downs. But man, just super excited to make this mock draft. The NFL draft is less than a month away, and this team has Super Bowl aspirations. The Green Bay Packers, if we go into the NFL draft, get some rookies that can make instant impacts. I mean, this team has a legitimate chance next year to win the Super Bowl. So without further ado, let's get right into this mock draft. So here we are, pick 25, and man, there's 3 great players at the top of the board: Jer'Zhan Newton, Kool-Aid McKinstry, and Jackson Powers-Johnson. But with this pick, I am going to go Kool-Aid McKinstry, the cornerback out of Alabama. This is a guy the Packers talk to a lot. This is a guy who has great size for the cornerback position at 6'1", only 21 years old, and he's a very good man-press cornerback and is a very good zone cornerback as well. As it says right here, Kool-Aid McKinstry is 6'1", 195 pounds, and 21 years old, which is my favorite thing about him, his age at only 21 years old. McKinstry plays one of the most difficult positions in the game with so much poise and production. He might not be an elite athlete, but he is one of the smartest cornerback prospects you'll find, and that's definitely rightfully so. This guy hardly gets out of position. He always puts himself in great position. It also says McKinstry can play in any defensive scheme and is the type of player you draft in the first round, and I definitely believe that. He just feels like a great defensive scheme fit, for this Jeff Hafley defensive scheme. McKinstry this year had an 87.8 coverage grade, an 83.0 run defense grade, which is definitely great for the quarterback position, a 48.7 completion percentage, 74.7 man coverage grade, 83.8 zone coverage grade. Like I said, he's very good at man press and just man coverage in general, and very good in zone coverage as well. Kool-Aid McKinstry this year allowed 205 yards, 1 touchdown, and had 0 interceptions, and a passer rating of a 73.1. McKinstry this year had 10 forced incompletions, 1 dropped interception, 8 coverage stops, 3 missed tackles, and an average depth of target of 10.5. Here are some pros and cons for Kool-Aid McKinstry. Great balance and fluidity when backpedaling. Good but not great recovery speed. Length is a big plus for press coverage. Hands are quick and precise for disrupting receivers out of press. Nice shoulder dip reaction to avoid blocks. Comfortable and confident in island coverage. Does not fall for feet chopping of wide receivers in the releases. Quick to read screens. And here are some cons for Kool-Aid McKinstry. Change of direction ability and agility are good but not elite for stickiness and coverage when routes are breaking. McKinstry likes to be physical, which leads to some unnecessary holding and DPI penalties. Long speed is good but not elite. Could stand to be more aggressive when attacking the ball. So with this pick at pick 25, we are going to get Kool-Aid McKinstry, get ourselves another island boundary cornerback. So here we are, pick 41, and man, oh man, Adrian Cooper has been going up the boards a lot. He got picked at pick 37 to the LA Chargers, so he's already off the board. We could go with Peyton Wilson. I know I have yet to draft Peyton Wilson, and I kind of stay away from him because of the extensive, injury history. Him tearing the same ACL in the same leg twice is the reason why I stay away from him. But, Adrian Cooper and Peyton Wilson are my tier 1 linebackers in this draft class. And I do believe if Peyton Wilson can stay healthy, he will be the best, linebacker from this draft class. He has the most upside, the highest ceiling. So with this pick, I am actually going to go Peyton Wilson. I have yet to draft a guy like Peyton Wilson. And right off rip, Peyton Wilson is 6'4", 238 pounds, which is really good size for the linebacker position. 23 years old, basically 24 years old. Like I said, an older prospect, but one that is very, very athletic for the linebacker position and has a ton of upside. As it says right here about Wilson, Wilson has the length, movement ability, IQ, and tape of a first-round linebacker. What will likely keep him from being drafted on day 1 is his injury history and age. If healthy, he can be a starting inside linebacker in any defense, and that is rightfully so. Here are some pros and cons for Peyton Wilson. Good length to handle blockers and get off blocks. Quick trigger downhill. Fluid athlete for his size. Covers a lot of ground and coverage when shuffling. Above average pursuit speed. Good pop-back contact despite being listed between 230 to 235 pounds. Now the cons for Peyton Wilson, like I said, extensive injury history, and that is literally the biggest one for Peyton Wilson. And then the other one, slender frame, lack of weight show up at times against bigger players. Peyton Wilson this year had a 76.8 pass rush grade, a 83.7 run defense grade, a 90.4 coverage grade, which is phenomenal for the linebacker position, a 3.3 average depth of run tackle, 4.7 missed tackle rate. And that 4.7 missed tackle rate is phenomenal because when you put in perspective how many tackles this man had, which was 92, that is elite. Peyton Wilson this year had 26 coverage stops, 41 run stops, 24 receptions on 37 targets, 64.9 completion percentage, 0 touchdowns, 3 interceptions, 3 forced incompletions, and a 47.2 passer rating, which is fairly solid for the linebacker position. Now, Peyton Wilson does get picked 32% by Packers fans whenever they do the mock draft. So for this mock draft, I have yet to draft Peyton Wilson. We are going to draft Peyton Wilson for this mock draft. And like I said, when I was talking about him earlier, this man could easily, be the best linebacker from this draft class. if he stays healthy, but that is a big if. But with this pick, like I said, we are going to go Peyton Wilson. It is kind of a risky pick, considering his injury history and how old he is. But if this man can stay healthy, I think he could honestly be an impact player right off the bat. So here we are, pick 58, and the Packers could use more offensive line depth. So with this pick, we're going to go with a guy who might be a little bit of a project player on the offensive line, but I think this guy is a very dominant run blocker. The way he attacks people, his physicality in the run game, reminds me a lot like Trent Williams, the tackle for the 49ers, and easily one of the best, offensive tackles in the NFL, or the best offensive tackle in all of football. And that guy is Kyron Amagaji, tackle / guard from Yale. Now, the reason I say / guard is because I believe in the NFL he might be more of a guard. But with the Green Bay Packers, I'm not ruling him out from playing the tackle position. The Packers love guys that are able to play both positions. And Kyron Amagaji did play tackle and guard at Yale. Amagaji is 6'5", 318 pounds. He's in that 6'5" to 6'6" range that the Packers love for the tackle or guard position. And this guy, like I said, is a very dominant run blocker. Fairly solid pass blocker. The one thing I will say about him is he plays with his pad level super high, and his hand placement isn't the greatest on a play-to-play basis. But here are some pros and cons for Kyron Amagaji. Body is built for the NFL. Stride length on kick, slides, and shuffles. Cover a lot of ground to stay in front of guys. Really good balance of weight and power at contact. Though he has naturally high pad level, he is conscious of leverage and attempts to dip his shoulders, before contact. Very impressive displacement / redirect power versus his current competition. Now, some cons for Kyron Amagaji, like I said too as well. High pad level, high waisted build at his hips makes it tough for him to sit in his stance at the snap. Foot speed is somewhat slow. Lack of hip flexibility and ability to sit in pass protection creates some balance issues. And like I said, the reason I believe Kyron Amagaji is kind of a project is because he's coming from the FCS level. But not just that, this is a guy who's not too great in pass blocking because of his build. He plays with his pad level way too high. But he already has the run blocking down. He is fairly one of the best run blockers in this entire draft class at the offensive line position. He only has 2 years of full production down. And this year, in the 4 games, he had an 87.9 run block grade, a 79.9 pass block grade, an 87.8 zone grade, 73.8 gap grade, 78.8 true pass set pass block grade. And if we look at his previous year in 2022, he had 0 sacks allowed, 1 hit, and 4 hurries. In the previous year, 1 sack, 4 hits, and 11 hurries. So he definitely improved from 2021 to 2022. And the start of 2023, he definitely looked way better as well. Now, Amagaji is a guy I said at Yale, did play tackle and guard this year. In the previous year, the last 2 years, did play tackle. Then in 2021, did play 669 snaps at guard. Kyron Amagaji does get picked 28% by Packers fans whenever they do their mock draft. So for this mock draft, we're going to continue the trend right here. We're going to pick Kyron Amagaji. Like I said, maybe a little bit of a project offensive lineman to develop, but I do think behind the guys we have already, and we have some good guys on the offensive line, he could develop and be something very good for us. So with this pick at pick 58, we are going Kyron Amagaji. So here we are at pick 88, and with this pick, we're going to go Cedric Van Pran, and it looks like the Packers are going to roll with Josh Myers for another year or two. So Cedric Van Pran honestly does need the extra year or two to develop more as a player. And I think him sitting behind Josh Myers is not a bad thing, and it will be very beneficial in terms of development for a guy like Cedric Van Pran. Cedric Van Pran is a very high IQ center, has great size at 6'4", is fairly athletic for the center position. But the one thing that definitely stands out about Cedric Van Pran is his pass blocking ability. He is a fairly good pass blocker, a solid run blocker. Cedric Van Pran is 6'4", 310 pounds, and 22 years old. He's fairly young for the center position. Here are some pros and cons for Van Pran. Wider base and pass protection makes him powerful to anchor. Overall athleticism is below average, but burst / first step quickness is good. High football IQ, good hand placement / hand strength. Does not shy away from physicality of the position. Great mentality. And here are some cons for Cedric Van Pran. Wide base makes it easier to anchor, but tougher to shuffle and mirror against stunt rushers. Good in pass protection in a phone booth, but anything that makes him really move around is a challenge. Cedric Van Pran in his 3 years at the collegiate level has only given up 1 sack, and this year only allowed 13 hurries, 0 hits, and 0 sacks, which is very good. Cedric Van Pran gets picked 11% by Packers fans whenever they do the mock drafts, and I do like this pickup right here. Josh Myers will probably be the center for another year, so getting Van Pran a year to develop behind a guy like Josh Myers is going to be beneficial for Cedric Van Pran and the Packers organization. So we did make a trade back with the LA Rams. We're going from pick 91, picking up 99, 154, and 196. So honestly, not a bad trade back by any means. And the players I do want, there's 3 of them. are not going to get projected to get drafted from picks 99 to 107. So we could get one of those guys from pick 99. So here we are, pick 99, and both of the guys I did want the most are still on the board, Ray Davis and Michael Hall Jr., so I might make a trade up right after this to get one of these guys. But with this pick, I am going to go Ray Davis, and I love the idea of pairing Ray Davis with Josh Jacobs and A.J. Dillon. I know we signed A.J. Dillon to a one-year deal, and he probably might be the RB2 of this NFL team, but Ray Davis is a very impressive three-down back, and he's being compared to guys such as Travis Etienne, the phenomenal running back for the Jacksonville Jaguars. So Ray Davis could be anything like that. Pair him up with Josh Jacobs. This could easily be one of the best backfields in all of football. I love the way Ray Davis runs the football. I love his catching ability. Ray Davis is 5'10", 216 pounds, and as it says right here, Davis is short, which affects his overall speed, but he has great center of gravity in addition to nimble and balanced footwork. He also has a quick first step to acceleration and fantastic vision, especially when running behind a zone blocking scheme. As a third down back, he has good hands and brings that one-cut agility to routes out that backfield. And Josh Jacobs has very strong hands. And I know Josh Jacobs said in his interview he wants to be more receiving back as well and get more of the receiving work. And Matt LaFleur has said that he'd explore those options. But I do think Ray Davis, brings that route running out the backfield that Josh Jacobs doesn't necessarily have. Josh Jacobs has really strong hands for running back and really great hands, honestly, for running back. But he's not necessarily the best of route runners out the backfield for a running back. And Ray Davis might just be one of the best, route runners out the backfield as a running back. It also says when it comes to pass protection, he is a willing blocker who has good fundamentals, but is often overpowered. Ray Davis this year had a rushing grade of a 91.4, a zone grade of a 77.3, a gap grade of a 91.6, a elusive rating of a 96.6, my bad, and a yards after contact of a 3.81. Ray Davis this year had 1,131 yards, 5.7 yards per attempt, 14 touchdowns, 32 receptions on 39 targets, for 324 receiving yards. Like I said, this guy is a receiving threat and a good runner with the ball in his hands. Ray Davis this year had 67 zone attempts, 127 gap attempts, yards after contact of 751, 51 missed tackles forced, 16 carries of 15 plus yards, which is very good, and yards per route run of a 1.28. So with this pick at 99, like I said, we are going to go Ray Davis, and I really do like the idea, of matching a three-down back like Ray Davis, one that's really, really elite at running routes out the backfield, and has, comparisons to a guy like Travis Etienne, the running back for the Jacksonville Jaguars. I really do like the idea of matching him up with Josh Jacobs and A.J. Dillon, so we have made a trade up with the Jacksonville Jaguars. We're giving them 126, 202, and 255. In between, we got 114 and 236, so it wasn't a bad trade by any means. With this pick, we're going to get a safety that I think matches pretty well with Xavier McKinney. He's pretty versatile. I think he's a complete safety. I think he has a ton of potential. I think he's better than what PFF grades him as a safety on this website. I've seen the comparisons for this guy, such as Jordan Poirier, Harrison Smith, and I think he fits both of those comparisons. That is Cole Bishop, safety out of Utah. I think this guy's a phenomenal athlete, a phenomenal tackler in open space, has a ton of instinctive ability, and is fairly good in coverage as well. Now, like I said, as I was talking about Cole Bishop, I think he's better than what PFF grades him in terms of his coverage grade, run defense grade, all these things. I think he's way better than what it shows. On film, he's a phenomenal safety, very instinctive. I love his versatility. I think this guy could honestly play in the slot, could play in the box, could play deep. Very versatile. I love the fitting with him and Xavier McKinney. Two guys that are very instinctive, two guys that are very quick, sideline to sideline, and both guys that are very versatile. Cole Bishop this year had 47 tackles, 13 assisted tackles, and 9 missed tackles. And his PFF grade this year was a 65.6, but his previous year, his PFF grade was a 75.5, which was very solid. Last year, he had 58 tackles, 21 assisted, and 17 missed tackles, which is honestly a lot. Cole Bishop this year had a 60.9 coverage grade. Like I said, I think he's a way better coverage player than that shows. A run defense grade of a 67.5, missed tackle rate of a 13%, forcing completion rate of 7%, average depth of run tackle 3.7, which is phenomenal for a safety. I love that. This year, he had 9 coverage stops, 13 run stops, 14 receptions on 26 targets, a 67.8 passer rating allowed, which is honestly pretty solid. 2 touchdowns to 2 interceptions, and 2 forcing completions. So with this pick, at pick 114, we are going to go Cole Bishop, the safety out of Utah. And here is Cole Bishop's RES, and as you see, he was in that 98th percentile. Very, very good scoring from Cole Bishop. Ran a 4.45 40-yard dash, had very impressive 20-yard splits and 10-yard splits, and had a 39-inch vertical, which was very solid. 6'2", great size for the safety position, 206 pounds. Honestly, that's good size for the safety position. There's a lot of guys that are lighter. Here are some clips of Cole Bishop right here, number 8 in the box, just making some good tackles, shedding some blocks. And that's the one thing I like about Cole Bishop the most. When he's in the box right here, he's a very good run defender. Look at this tackle right here. Splits the block right there. Makes a good tackle. Number 8 right here. Very quick. Off the line. Look at that. Bam. Good tackle. Where's number 8? He's right here, right side. Good tackle. Bam. So here we are, pick 154. We don't necessarily need this position, but it isn't a bad one to get. Preston Smith getting a little bit older. Kingsley Nabarri coming back from the torn ACL. We could definitely use another pass rusher, someone that could get to the quarterback. And Xavier Thomas is still on the board. This guy is one of the quicker edge defenders off the line at getting to the quarterback. And I mean, like, literally quicker. This guy is very, very quick off the line. And he was a freshman starting for Clemson years back. Had a lot of hype on him. Fast forward a couple years down the line in the draft. Doesn't have that hype still around it, but I still think he has a lot of potential, a lot of upside as a third down specialist, getting to the quarterback. Very, very quick off the line, like I said. Doesn't necessarily have the best of, measurements for the edge position. I think he's around 6'2", 250 pounds, so a little bit undersized, you could say, but he's very quick off the line, like I said. Fairly athletic, and he's solid at holding the edge for run plays. Like I said, Xavier Thomas, 6'2", 255 pounds. Not the shortest of, size for edge defenders, but not the biggest by any means. And this year, Xavier Thomas had a 79.8 pass rush grade, a 73.0 run defense grade, a 79.6 true pass set pass rush grade, a 17.1% pass rush win rate, and a 5.1% run stop rate. Xavier Thomas this year had 4 sacks, 7 hits, and 32 hurries, and 1 batted pass. So like I said, I picked 154. We are going to go Xavier Thomas. It's not necessarily, a position we need. Could have went more O-line depth, D-line depth, or even safety depth, but there's really not anybody I like, at this pick. And Xavier Thomas is good value right here. Could be a good third down specialist for us at getting to the quarterback. So here we are, 169. Could never go wrong with more offensive line depth. So with this pick, we are going to go Jalen Sundell. He's honestly a very underrated tackle in this draft class. Has the versatility, couldn't get the word right. The versatility that the Packers like. He's a guy that can play, tackle, center, guard, I'm pretty sure. And like I said, the one thing I'll talk about first is he has the versatility. This year played tackle. Previous years has played center. And I'm pretty sure he can play guard, especially with the Green Bay Packers. Jalen Sundell's in that 6'5" to 6'6" range that the Packers like. Only 300 pounds, you could say, is a little light for a tackle or a guard, but he has a lot of athleticism for the position, in my opinion. Jalen Sundell this year had a 78.0 run block grade, an 89.2 pass block grade, and he was very, very dominant against lower competition. And that's what you want to see. A 77.9 zone grade, a 74.0 gap grade, and an 89.7 true pass set pass block grade, which is very good. Jalen Sundell does get picked 23% by Packers fans whenever they do their mock drafts, and it's probably a lot because of me. So with this mock draft right here, though, we are going to get Jalen Sundell. I'm going to go, continue that trend. So here we are, 169. I just want to get more guys on the defensive line, more depth guys. And Marcus Harris is a really good run stopper from Auburn. Around 6'1", 6'2", 300 pounds. Not the biggest of dudes, not the shortest of dudes. A really physical, good run stuffer that's able to take on double teams. And just a big body out there. Marcus Harris is actually measured in at 6'3", 295 pounds. So actually fairly solid size for the defensive line position. And Marcus Harris this year had a 64.0 pass rush grade, an 87.4 run defense grade. Like I said, this guy's a really good run stopper, really physical. A true pass set pass rush grade of a 65.0. Marcus Harris had a 5.6% pass rush win rate, a 10.2% run stop rate. This year, Marcus Harris had an 82.4 PFF grade, 7 sacks, 1 hit, 16 hurries, which is pretty solid, and 1 batted pass. So with this pick at 196, we are going to go Marcus Harris. You can't go wrong with having defensive line depth. He's just another big body guy like TJ Slane that could come in on run stopping plays or run scenario plays and just take on double teams and stop the run. So here we are at 219. And again, I'm just going to go more depth, but this time it's going to be for the offensive line. And that guy is going to be Tanier Bertolini. Now, Tanier is a very versatile center / offensive lineman from Wisconsin. And I just like the pickup right here for his versatility. He's a guy who I think could play center, guard, maybe even tackle for us if needed be. He's not going to be a star player or anything like that or a starter for us, but he's just going to be a guy that could come in. If guys get hurt, guys get banged up, guys get rolled up. If guys are out for a certain amount of plays, even a certain amount of games, he could be a guy that could come in for us and maybe play some valuable snaps for us. Tanier Bertolini is at 6'4", 310 pounds, which is fairly solid size for the center or guard position. And this year, Tanier had a 61.1 run block grade, a 80.3 pass block grade, a 56.4 zone grade, a 63.4 gap grade, and a 77.6 true pass set pass block grade, which is okay. Tanier has only given up 3 sacks his collegiate career, and this year giving up 1 sack, 2 hits, and 8 hurries. And like I said, the thing that I like about Tanier the most is his versatility. This year he had 868 snaps at center. The previous year had 400 snaps at left guard, 74 at the center position, and 163 at the right guard position. Then the year before that had 229 at the tackle position and 56 at the left guard position. So there is versatility with him. He has played literally almost every, offensive line position at the collegiate level except for left tackle. And I do like the versatility because of that. Like I said, he's not going to be a starter or a star player for us by any means, but he could be a reliable guy that could come in and play some snaps if guys get hurt. It could just be a guy that we bring in for competition. There's nothing wrong with that. So with this pick at 219, like I said, we are going to Tony or Bertolini. There's nothing wrong with going offensive line depth, especially a guy that's very versatile. So here we are at 236, and like I said, these last picks, especially in every mock draft, are just going to be depth pieces. But Trevor Wallace is a linebacker from Kentucky that killed out their combine, had a very good RAS scoring. And this guy might just be a diamond in the rough. Someone that we could develop, might be more of a project linebacker. But if we could develop him because of how athletic he is, he could be honestly a very solid player for us, or just be a really good depth special team player for us. Wallace this year had a 64.3 pass rush grade, a 61.4 run defense grade, a 58.6 coverage grade, 3.5 average depth of run tackle, which is okay and solid, 11.5 missed tackle rate. But the one thing that definitely stands out about Wallace is he's very, very athletic for the linebacker position. Trevor Wallace has solid size for the linebacker position at 6'2", 241 pounds, but he's just very athletic. I like the draft right here. I like the pickup. Just an athletic guy. He gets picked 21% by Packers fans whenever they do the mock draft. So for this pick right here in this mock draft, we are going to follow the trend at pick 236. We are going Trevor Wallace. So with our last pick right here, just going to be another depth piece. It's going to be at the safety position right here. And this guy, I honestly think, is very solid. And I do think he deserves a lot more buzz. I do think this guy is a diamond in the rough. I do think whatever team drafts him in the later rounds is going to get, honestly, a very good, solid player. One that could come in and play some really good snaps for a team. That is Katan Aladapo, safety out of Oregon State. This guy is very, very fast, has the recovery speed, and I just love how athletic he is, the way he attacks the ball, and the way he plays the safety position. Katan Aladapo this year had an 84.4 coverage grade, a 91.3 run defense grade, a 12.1% missed tackle rate, a 19.4 force and completion rate, which is very good, and an 8.9 average depth of run tackle. Katan Aladapo this year had an 88.3 PFF grade, had 63 tackles, 17 assisted, and 11 missed tackles. Katan Aladapo also had 10 coverage stops, 13 run stops, 21 receptions on 36 targets, a 61.3 passer rating allowed, which is fairly solid, 1 touchdown allowed to 2 interceptions, and 7 forcing completions. And the one thing that definitely stands out about Aladapo besides his speed and his athleticism is his versatility. This guy could play in the slot, could play in the box, and could play back deep. So with this pick at 245, our last pick in the mock draft, we are going Katan Aladapo, safety at Oregon State. So here's what PFF has graded my mock draft. Our first pick, we went Cooley McKinstry. This is a guy the Packers have talked to a lot. B- right there. I do think this is a fairly good pickup. Really good outside cornerback. Really good boundary cornerback. Very good size. Very just smart cornerback. I love his man press abilities and his zone coverage abilities. Next pick went Peyton Wilson. A little bit of a risky pick right here, but if he could stay healthy, I do believe Peyton Wilson will be the best linebacker from this draft class if he can stay healthy. With that pick right there, we did get an A- for that. Not a bad pickup by any means. He is on PFF big board at 27. We got him at pick 41. That is a steal. Then with our next pick at pick 58, we went Kyron Amagaji. I do think this guy is honestly a very, very good dominant run blocker. I think he has a lot of upside. Like I said, the way he just run blocks, his physicality, the way he attacks people in the run game reminds me a lot like Trent Williams, the offensive tackle for the San Francisco 49ers. So I really do think this is a good pickup right here. Got an A- for that. Really good pickup. Then with our next pick at 88, we went Cedric Van Pran. And I do like the pickup right here because Josh Myers is probably going to be with us for another year or two at max. And that gives, time for Van Pran to develop for a full year behind Josh Myers, refine his tools, and just become a better overall player. We got a C for that right there. Not a bad grade for that at all. Then with our next pick at 99, we went Ray Davis. And I just like the pairing of Ray Davis, a third down back, one that has a lot of receiving upside as a running back, and one that's being compared to guys such as Travis Etienne, the running back for the Jacksonville Jaguars. I really do like the pairing with him, A.J. Dillon, and Josh Jacobs together. Got a C+ for that pickup right there. Not a bad one. My PFF simulator went down, but with our next pick at 114, we did go Cole Bishop, and they did give us a B+ for that. We did have the trade up with the Jacksonville Jaguars, and it was honestly a really good trade up on our part. Got a really good player in Cole Bishop, one that I think, matches very well to Xavier McKinney. Then at 154, we got an A for Xavier Thomas. This is really good value in my eyes. Then with our next pick at 169, we did go Jalen Sundell. I always do pick this guy, most of my mock drafts. a fairly good tackle from North Dakota State, really good pass blocker, offers the versatility the Packers like in their offensive lineman. Got a B for that right there. Not a bad pickup. Then at 196, we went Marcus Harris, and this guy, is a really good run stopper, someone that I think is very physical and violent with his hands, and could just be, another TJ Slane type of guy for us. For this pickup right here, we got an A minus, a really good grade right there. Then at 219, we got Tanier Bertolini, and we got a B for that right there. Then with the next we went Trevor Wallace. This guy's really, really athletic. Could be a diamond in the rough. Could be a guy we could develop, and he could be something for us. But if not, could be a really good special teamer for us just because how athletic he is. Got a C plus right there. I like the pickup. Then at 245, our last pick in this mock draft, we went Catan Oladapo. Got a B plus for that right there. I do think, Catan deserves a lot more buzz and should be talked about a lot more. The overall grade we got right here for this PFF mock draft simulator was a B plus. So let me know what you guys think about this draft class right here. Not a bad one by any means. I think it's a fairly good one. We get some really good impact players. If Peyton Wilson could stay healthy, he could be a real impact player for us and could easily, with Quay Walker, be one of the best, linebacker duos in all of football. Let me know what you guys think about this mock draft in the comments. It's been your boy Sports Culture. I'm out.